good morning, everybody. Hey, listen, I just want to talk real briefly as I'm on my way to the office. How I got to 126 policies in my first 5 months. And for a new agent, I've talked about it in previous videos, I had no industry knowledge. I was in the financial field for many years, but in other facets. But in insurance, it was brand new for me. So again, no training, no real mentorship, no real guidance. And a lot of times for you new agents, when you're accepting, you don't know what you don't know. When you're accepting on going into a contract with one of the carriers or one of the providers, like the bigger names agencies that you might sign up to, you don't know exactly what you're getting yourself into. So you have to figure it out and you have to learn it. It was fortunate for me, the company I went with, their goal was to pay a small salary and then pay a percentage of commission. So my opportunity for really good money kind of diminished because the percentage of payout was very small. So that meant I had to ramp up the amount of policies I needed just to see a good dent and bringing back some possible income. So how did I get to 126 policies? For a new agent in the field, you almost have to be masterful. And I'm not saying this to glorify myself. I'm just saying you have to be masterful at selling. You have to have previous experience somehow, or you just get it. And you realize at a very early point what it's going to take and how it's going to, how much work it's going to take in order for you to be able to accumulate that many policies in such a short amount of time. Has it been done before? Yes. Maybe people may tell you that they made this amount of money within a certain time frame. But policy-wise, in order to make that many policies, you literally would have to be doing about, on average, 20 policies per month. And 20, I'm talking about when I say 126, that number was even higher than that. These are just the numbers of policies that actually stuck. There was no chargebacks. They didn't come back within the first few months of the client not paying the premiums, and they lapsed. So that's a big accomplishment I'm very proud of, but I just wanted to just talk briefly on how I did that. So again, this particular company, they supplied the leads for me. There were no door knocking. I didn't have to go out. That was on me if I decided to do that. But as far as being new to the field, I wanted to stick close to the management and the people that knew the systems, that knew the products, because again, this was a learning experience for me. How can I learn this business and then I want to dominate this business? And so I needed to stick close to the people that can help answer all the questions, because you're going to have a plethora of questions that you need answered so you can start understanding how to sell and what's this and what's that, what should I go to, identify clients and matching them with the right product and policies. So what helped propel me to that many policies? Again, I've talked about it in other videos. One of the key pieces were having a quick identifying tool. So knowing the product and being able to match it. You ever take a test where they tell you one side of the page is the answer, but then the other side of the page are examples of a particular product, and then they want you to cross, match the answer with the right product, and then you have to figure it out and match it up. Well, that's how you have to think about it in insurance or any type of financial field where you offer a product. You need a quick identifier. What is it that I can use that I'm just learning the business and I can't remember, term policies and 15, 20, 30 years and all the nuances, because every carrier is different. The conversion of a term policy into a permanent policy. When When you look at IULs, you got the IUL products, and you're trying to remember an IUL, but another carrier calls it GUL. They have a different universal product, and this one earns cash value, but this one has a different percentage on how much interest you earn on the cash value. So it's so many nuances you have to figure out. And then there's the guidelines. Well, from this age to this age, after 50, you can't offer this product. Under 18, you can't offer this product. So you see what I'm saying? There's so much confusion. And when you're new to the business, it's going to make you nervous. And then what happens? You get on the phone. In this particular role, in my experience, I did everything virtual. So it was either a virtual Zoom meeting with the client, which you'll see now in the world of insurance, that's where everyone's going, or you're having a telephone conversation. A lot of times, I text a lot of the clients to get them drawn into a product. So that helped me to do some research and send them the right product. And as long as the price was right, they were ready to move forward. But again, identifying the product is going to help. So I created an Excel sheet, had my manager create an Excel sheet, list all the products, and then on the other side, give me the product that matches best with this particular supposed client and product, so I can quickly listen to my client. Hey, what's your age? What's your health? What medications are you on? Blah, blah, blah. How long, what are you looking to accomplish with this product? And then now I can say, okay, I can eliminate all of these. They got the options of 1, 2, and 3. Let's work the numbers. Here's what you have, client. And then you go from there. And then that's one facet. So the tool that you use, that's a quick identifier. The next one that is crucial is in a lot of situations and trainings, I should say, they're going to try to train you on overcoming objections. Now, for me, this is my own thinking, the way I overcome objections is handle the objection while you're actually telling them about the product before they can get to it. I'm not talking about, hey, you're going through these options and you're doing all these quotes, and then you're saying, so what do you think about that? What do you think about this product, Mr. So-and-so? You ready to do the application? And then the objection comes if they don't want to do it. And 90% of the time, they're going to find some reason to not separate themselves from money. And they're going to give themselves an excuse and talk their way out of it. But if you overcome the objection while you're actually handling the quote, a lot of times you find a better rate of success. And what I mean by that is, for example, you're talking to the client, you got the quick identifier, you understand what product matches up best for them. For me, as a broker now, you get to work with so many. At the time, I was only working with this one particular carrier, but they were aligned with a brokerage where I had about 40 other carriers I can quote. So that was great for me. And I did a lot more business that way because the goal was to take care of the client. And the client is worried about the bottom line. How much is this going to cost me on a month-to-month basis? And you have to look at that, because if you try to stuff your pockets with high premiums, there's a very high chance that client is going to lapse on that policy, which means what?